Hello and welcome to my video today. I have a new item in from Lectron, and as you know, I've reviewed many of their items over the years, and they are known as a quality manufacturer of EV charging products. Today's unboxing is going to be of an L2 or 240 volt charging system. This one is different than the previous ones since it has a Wi-Fi app that you can control the amp levels. And I'm going to have a specific situation where this will come in handy for the Fisker Ocean. So let's get started. Here's a view of the box front. It comes with a J1772 handle. This is also available with a Tesla connector if you need one. Basically the same exact charging setup, just with a different handle. Here's the side. We have IP65 water and dust proof. And here's some more specs on the back. Rated current 40 amps, input output 240 volts. We have 50-60 hertz, power 9.6 kilowatts, cable length 16 feet. Plug is a NEMA 1450. Connector J1772. The weatherproof rating on the handle is IP64 and IP65 on the unit itself. Pretty compact dimensions, 11 by 4 by 2.3. Weight is 10.58 pounds. Operating temperature negative 22 Fahrenheit to plus 22 Fahrenheit or negative 30 C to plus 50 C. Materials, it's made of polycarbonate and ABS. Wi-Fi is 802.11bgn. Channels 1 through 14, 2.4 gigahertz, and Bluetooth is BLE 5.2. Included in the box is the charger, mounting plate, a screw and anchor set, and a carrying case. We also have some QR codes here for the Lectron app and also to contact them. This is their website, ev-lectron.com. And that is about it on the box. I am going to open it up for the first time and check it out. Folding the top, we have everything in the travel case. So I'm just going to take that out, move the box out of the way. Has dual zippers, and opening it up, we have some paperwork on top. We have an extended warranty information with the QR code. So you may be interested in looking at that. We also have the app QR code also on this card. And also a user manual QR code right here. So very handy to have. We have a plastic wall mount. And it has some hardware with it. We have some screws and anchors so you can mount that on a wall. And then we have some Velcro holding it in place. And here is the unit itself. I'm going to remove the bubble wrap. And here's a look at the charging handle itself. Has a nice grip on it and also the release mechanism right here. And this is all metal, by the way, metal piece here. We have a rubber cap on this for making it weatherproof, dustproof, etc. And there is the end of it. Yeah, pretty nice handle. And here is the unit itself. As I mentioned, it's pretty compact. We have a little LCD protector up here for the cover, and we have some LEDs here to indicate the operation. On the back, which I like on a lot of Lectron products, is all the codes for the LED status. You don't need to have the manual on you. You can look right on the back here, and this will tell you everything you need to know. All the specs, everything is on here, so very handy to have. And we have the pigtail with the NEMA 1450. I'm also going to be using this with the NEMA 1430 outlet and show you some of the things you need to do for that type of installation. And the rest of the cable is right here. We have these Velcro ties keeping it organized in the case. I'm going to take this out of the box. I'm going to stretch it to the full length and measure the cord. So let's do that. Starting out where the cable leaves the main unit and going all the way along its length, I get a measurement of 199 inches or 16 feet 7 inches, which is 505.5 centimeters or 5.05 meters. So actually longer than the specs in the box state. And for the pigtail, measuring from where the cable starts on the unit and ending before the plug starts, we get 14 inches or 35.6 centimeters. Now let's get the diameter of the cable itself. So I'm going to get my calipers out here and I am going to, all right, I am getting 21.8 millimeters or 0.85 inches. Let me check the pigtail to see if it is the same. We have a slightly narrower diameter here of 0.79 inches or 20.3 millimeters for the pigtail. So if you need any charging on the road, you can easily put it in the case and then stick it under the subfloor of the trunk. Fits in there nicely and doesn't take away any space for your luggage on top. So if you have a garage with wood studs and or drywall, you would just take the screws and mounts and drill those into the wall. Since I have a wall mount system, I'm going to mount this to my universal wall mount, and I just use some screws for that. So that's basically where I'm going to locate it, since my NEMA 1450 outlet is in this location right here. And then I have a hook over here where I can put the cable. So let me show you how you mount the EV charger onto this. Basically, you just insert it into the opening and it will snap into place like that. Now I'm going to take the cable, I'm going to coil it up. Then I take the NEMA 1450 plug and I insert that into the outlet, and we should be ready to go. I'm going to switch on the breaker. We have the power LED blinking. And here's a look at the outlet. So pretty compact installation. All right, so I have the QR code on the paper here, and I'm going to take my phone up to it and get that code. You can download either Apple or Android. So here is the app. All right, so I'm going to add my charger. So I'm going to click on my chargers, add, and then it's going to look for the device. It is discovering. I'm going to do add. So it's got my Wi-Fi now and it is being added. All right, successfully added. And I'm going to press done. We have a whole bunch of things here to look at. Let's go to the bottom. We got settings. We have charge mode, plug and charge. You can do manual start, charge by kilowatt, or scheduled charging. We have select charging current. We have 40, but we also can pick 32, 24, 16, 12, or 8. For this situation, for this outlet, since it's a NEMA 1450, I'm going to use the full 40 amps. Internal temperature says 89 degrees. That's probably what my temperature is ambient. We have a hardware version, software version, and equipment number. So what else do we have here? We have record, which we don't have a record right now because we haven't charged with it yet. But when you do have charging, it will populate this and we'll have usage data, which is very handy to have. It looks like it tracks your kilowatt hours and on a daily basis, monthly, and annually. So very cool. I really like that aspect of it. We have scheduling. So if you have time of use for your power company, that comes in handy. Since I don't with my current provider, I'm not going to be doing the scheduling. So I'm going to skip that for now. And let's go back to home. So basically right now it has the information of voltage, amps, and power, and the charging kilowatt hours. And then you can press start charging. Since it's not connected right now, I can't do that. So I'll have to plug this into the car and we'll have a look at the charging. If I click on the upper right menu here, just says information of the device, tap to run. So we have some automations we can actually create here. Share device, create group, check device network. That's very interesting. So I'll probably do that at some point. What I'll do is I'll connect this to the car and we can check it out. So here we go. We have the charging cable here. I'm just going to uncoil it and bring it all the way over to the charge port. Open up the charge port, and then I'm going to insert it. And if you notice on the main unit here, the connection is showing. So we have power and connection. So I am going to test the app here. I'm going to press start charging. So seeing how that works. So there we go. So we're showing 242 volts. The current is 29.48, and we get a max of 7.17. And this is due to the Fisker Ocean having a max 32 amps charging on the built-in charger. So even though the EVSE can support 40 amps, the most we're going to get out of it is 32. And that's just this vehicle. If I was to charge my Tesla Model 3 that's sitting right over there, you would see the full 40 amps being used by the charger. If we go over to the main unit here, as we saw before, we have the power LED is lit up, we have the connect LED lit up, and now the charging LED is blinking, which means it is charging. There's also an error LED, and that is not lit, which is a good thing, because that would be a problem with either the charge circuit or problem connecting to the car. So if you did have that issue, you'd need to have that checked out. Otherwise, everything is working fine with the Lectron EVSE on the default 40 amp mode that I have when I have it connected to the NEMA 1450 outlet, which provides you a max of 40 amps out of the 50, and that's pretty much as expected. So looking good. So normally I would have this charging to a certain percent, but since this is just a test, if I want to stop charging, all I would need to do is press stop on the vehicle screen, the center screen, or I can press the button on the handle here, hold it for a few seconds, this light will turn off, and then I can pull it out. Or you could use the app itself. So let me test the app. I'm going to press stop charging. And if you notice now, it made an unlock sound, and now the port is blinking. So I just need to pull it out, as easy as that. And then I just need to put it away. Even though this has a almost 17-foot cord, I do prefer to have longer cords in my garage. This is fine if you have a charging setup and your car is right next to it, but if you wanted to charge the car that was 2 spots over, you couldn't do that. So the only negative I see on the EVSE is the 16-foot length. I'd like them to offer other options. If you wanted a 20 or 24-foot length cable, that should be an option to have. But for this situation, if I park my car right here, this is more than enough to reach if I back in or forward facing in to reach the charging station and the charge port. At this point, I'm going to show my second scenario, and specifically on the other side of the garage, I have a NEMA 1430 outlet, and that's restricted on the amps that it could use to 24. So you can't use more than 24 amps on that 30 amp circuit. So one of the previous EVSEs I had installed over there has an auto amp setting, and it just defaults to 40 amps at all times. So in my situation, that's not great since I need to have the amps lower since it's on a lower circuit. So I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to move the car over and we'll test that out. Okay, I'm on the other side of the garage. I moved the mount to the opposite wall. I also moved the hook so I can put the cable on here. And here is the NEMA 1450 plug. This is a NEMA 1430, and if you look at it, it is a slightly different setup than the other one. If I take this off, this is what it looks like. So if I put the plugs side by side here, you can see that the 1450 has 3 of these slatted prongs, and the 1430 only has 2 of them, and then one of them is angled. So slightly different because this one's a 50 amp and this one's a 30 amp. So I have this extension going towards my 1430 outlet, and this is a heavy duty extension. So I'm going to mount it right here. So all I need to do is attach the NEMA 1450 plug into this one right here. And it is now fully attached. I'm going to go turn on the breaker. And as you can see, we have the power light is on. I am going to go into the settings here and change the current from 40 down to 24, because 24 is what the NEMA 1430 will provide on a consistent basis. So I'm going to confirm that. All right, so now we're set for 24. And charging mode, this is set for manual. Let me do the plug and charge and test that one out. So I am ready to take the cable, and I am going to open the charge port, and I'm going to move this around so you can see it a little better. Insert the plug into the port, and with the setting for the automatic charging or the plug and play charging, you'll notice that the charge light is now solid green and the car is charging. And you can also see that on the base unit itself. You see that it's connected and the charging light is flashing. If I go on the app, it is showing that it is charging. I have the voltage 240.5, current is 23, and the power to the car is 5.56. And if I want to stop, I can just press the stop charging button right here. But I'll show you the other method that if you want to stop is just press the button here and give it a few seconds, and then you hear it unlock and the light is blinking and I can pull it out. So that's another way of taking out the plug from the charge port. Let's look at some other settings here. We have charge by kilowatt or scheduled charge. Let me test the scheduled charging, and I'm gonna put that in here. I'm gonna add a schedule. I'm gonna say 6. We'll charge at 6:15, and I'm gonna just for example, just have it charge for 2 minutes or so. Let's make it 3. And then it's for this. I'm gonna save. And I am going to plug it in. And when I plug it in, it's probably going to stay on the flashing green. And since we're on scheduled charge in about a minute, I'm going to see if that works. The Fisker Ocean is known for being kind of finicky with scheduled charging. Oh, there we go. So I have a good example here of scheduled charging. You can tell it's got a solid green light here on the LED. And I see in the app here, we're showing the voltage and the current and the power here. So yeah, so everything's working. So I have confirmed that scheduled charging works with the Fisker Ocean and the Lectron EVSE. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do a video on this EVSE is that on a lot of these EVSEs that are automatic plug and play units, they automatically default to the highest amp rating, which is usually 40 amps, which for the Fisker Ocean is not great. One of the things on the Fisker Ocean is that the increments for charging are very limited. You have the options for 8 amps, 16, or 32. There's no option for 24 amps, which is what this circuit provides. So if I just plugged in that other unit into the Ocean, I would only get a max of 16 amps, which isn't great considering you could do a lot better than that. So by using this app on this EVSE, I can set the amp level to anything I want. Like I mentioned in here, you can set it for 8 amps, 12 amps, 16 amps, 24, 32, or 40. So very adjustable with the amp settings, and that's exactly what I needed for this location. So if you happen to have a outlet in your house, usually these are the dryer outlets that are the NEMA 1430s, and you cannot put in any other additional outlets such as a NEMA 1450, and you're stuck with a max of the NEMA 1430, which is only 24 amps. This would be a good solution for the Fisker Ocean for the charging that I think would give you basically the best charging for that outlet. That's about it. I wanted to show an example of using the full 40 amps, which I showed at the other side of the garage using the NEMA 1450 outlet, and also with this, the NEMA 1430. Oh, I just wanted to mention that I set the schedule charging here for just a few minutes, and it automatically started charging, and now it automatically stopped charging. So the schedule feature is working great. So if you look at the charge port here, you can see it's blinking now, so it's no longer charging. I can just take out this plug at any time, and we're good. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about today with the unboxing and testing of this new Lectron 40 amp EVSE. I think the ability of having Wi-Fi and using an app with the EVSE gives a lot more flexibility in its use. You can set scheduling, you can set the specific amp level you want. There's lots you can do with it. So I recommend for just a slight increase, I think it's only a less than $20 difference between this and the non-Wi-Fi version. I would suggest getting the Wi-Fi version. And also if you have a situation like me where I have a NEMA 1430, I think this is the best type of EVSE you can get because you can adjust the amps using the app and then lock it in, and it'll always use that amp level for this connection. If you're interested in the Lectron EVSE, I have links in the video description. If you use my code, you'll see a nice discount. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.